All right. Good Monday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of your forecast. Hope everyone is doing well today. We are almost to the 4 o'clock hour here in Amarillo. It is July 28th, year of our Lord 2025. We are going to be talking about some changes coming down the weather pattern here in the next couple of days. We've got some hot weather currently, mostly dry conditions here across the area. But things are going to change by the second half of this week. In fact, some of us will probably get some additional rainfall before we get to this weekend. And it's definitely going to be much cooler to finish off the week than where we're at right now and where we'll probably be on our Tuesday. So right now you're taking a live look outside at our camera in Clovis, New Mexico. We're looking west. You can see a bunch of fair weather cumulus clouds out there, but no rainfall. Again, all of that rain today should be staged just outside the viewing area. We've got that aerial flood watch in effect outside of the DMA until 9 o'clock tonight. That's going to, or I'm sorry, until 9 o'clock Tuesday. That's just due to continued moisture being pumped into central New Mexico as that ridge of high pressure continues to turn off to our east. So again, we've got hot, dry suppression over here in the eastern panhandles. We've got a little bit better lift and instability, and certainly some better moisture out there in the central side of the land of enchantment. So storm activity should stay well off to our west for today. Tomorrow it maybe gets a little bit closer to the area, and then by Wednesday we'll have some other parameters coming into play, which we'll have to talk about here momentarily. But 89 degrees right now, so it's really not that bad of a day outside. It is a little warm, but not unprecedented. In fact, temperatures are still a little bit below normal for highs for July 28th. Our normal high is 93. Whether or not we get there today, I think is going to be I think it's kind of unlikely for Amarillo anyway, but some other areas have gotten there. 98 in Childress, their dew point 63 degrees, 66-degree dew point in Paducah, kind of an oppressive, muggy day down there. But definitely very humid. Just we've got too much suppression over our heads to get storms to fire off. So here's your calendar. This is kind of the month in review for our high temperatures for Amarillo specifically. Yesterday we got to 93 degrees, which is the normal high temperature. We should be a smidge colder than that today. And if we ended the month yesterday at midnight, we'd actually end the month at about 2 degrees below normal for our temperatures through the entire month of July. And we'd end up a little bit wetter than average, too. The National Weather Service office has seen 3.15 inches of rain since July 1st. Normal would be 2.44. So it's been a little cooler than normal. It has been a bit wetter than normal. Even though we have had some warmer days mixed in, those colder days just kind of offset and then some a little bit more the warmer temperatures that we've had, at least on an intermittent level for the month of July. That's really been the story for us most of the summer. It's just been wet and it's been cooler than average. It's not like we've seen all of this rain all at once either. It's just been a nice, consistent, 1 inch here, inch and a half there, and it's kind of all started in, the second half of April. And then we just continued. We had 2 to 3 inches of rain in April. We had 3+ inches of rain in May, 3+ inches of rain in June. We've had over 3 inches of rain in July. It's not like it's all come at once. So the grass really hasn't been stressed. A lot of the ag products haven't been stressed a whole lot this year in the panhandles. I'm sure a lot of the dryland farmers around here certainly happy with their crop this year, being able to make a decent, um, you know, a decent crop just given the more consistent rainfall that we've been dealing with. I mean, some places like Hereford have already seen 20 inches of rain this year, which is their normal average for the entire 12-month period rather than just 7 months. So way ahead of schedule for some rainfall down in the southeast or southwest panhandle. Let's go ahead and run through your computer model. Tomorrow should be quiet. We'll start off in the 60s and 70s. We are expecting those highs to return to the low and mid 90s. There's some of those isolated thunderstorms that could encroach a bit further east. It's going to impact probably areas like eastern New Mexico, Quay, Union, Curry, maybe Roosevelt County. I don't know if we're going to get any storms in the panhandles tomorrow per se, but that will change, I think, heading into Wednesday. This is going to be very conditional, but you can see we've got a cold front that is starting to work its way into the area by 8 o'clock. Our in-house model has that cold front knocking on our door in Amarillo at 8 o'clock. This is something that models have really struggled to pick up on in terms of the timing. If it does come through pretty early in the day, I think this could create some boom or bust potential for our high temperatures for the afternoon. Currently, a lot of our mid-range models have us getting into the mid 90s on Wednesday. But if this front gets here early and we start seeing storms early and a lot of cloud cover, that's going to stunt the daytime temperatures. So That is one thing that we're a little uncertain on, but just want you guys to know that that's probably going to be a make or break for if you get to average or above average temperatures. If we see that cold front get here early, it's probably not going to be in the 90s for most of the day. And you can see by 6 o'clock, we even have a few thunderstorms trying to billow up across and maybe even just behind that cold front, which will eventually stall out. A lot of models have this thing stalling out on Wednesday. Up here near the Oklahoma Panhandle, we're kind of leaning towards a more southern bias. Just with how things normally play out here, these fronts get further south than models suggest. So current thoughts are maybe we'll have a chance for some rain on Wednesday along and behind that frontal boundary. And then Thursday, just depending on where it's at, we may continue that chance for rain on a scattered level. And then as we head into the weekend, that ridge of high pressure that gets suppressed down in northern Mexico starts to retreat north a little bit, but it's way west of us. And so we're actually under some northwest flow aloft. If you guys have lived here, you know what we've talked about northwest flow before. What that does is that pushes all that cold, dry air from over the mountains over that warm, moist air here in the southern plains. In the late summer months, which we're kind of getting to that point, that usually creates a very buoyant atmosphere that allows for thunderstorms to develop off the Sangre de Cristo mountain range. If the wind shear is there, that pushes those storms in the direction of the Texas-Oklahoma Panhandle. So again, we'll likely see storms develop heading into the weekend along the Front Range. Now, the question will be, do we have enough wind shear to push those storms into our direction and maybe continue that chance for rainfall? Right now, we've got higher confidence for storms on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday than we do this weekend, but I certainly think that it's very plausible that at least our northwestern counties may still be in play for a chance of rain heading into that Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Monday window. So here's the Weather Prediction Center's outlook for rainfall. This is through the next 3 days. You can see the Sangre de Cristo Mountains expected to see a fair bit of rainfall, especially there near Taos, and then back up towards Red River. Some of those areas could see quite a bit of rainfall. I mean, some of those on the order of several inches of rain, but likely dry here to start the week for us. This is through Wednesday. Now, as we tack on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can see the map starts to get more colorful here across the panhandles. It's not going to be a huge amount of rain, at least that's not the expectation. But generally speaking, there could be some pockets where we do get another inch, inch and a half of rainfall. And that's just going to continue to allow that grass to continue growing. We had about an inch to 3 inches of rain across most of the area last week. The exception being Boise City, Guyman, Oklahoma. They only had like a tenth or 2/10 of an inch of rain. So this would be good for them. I know that some of the grasses may start to become stressed here over the next few days. Again, just maybe some spotty flash droughts starting to kind of pop back up. It is hot after all. We are in summer, so our evaporative transpiration is usually pretty high. It's how much water evaporates back up out of the soil into the atmosphere. We usually lose about an inch per week. So this is something that could lead to, your droughts usually set in a lot faster in the summer just because we lose that moisture from the soil a lot quicker than you would in the winter months. So if you missed the rain last week and you miss it this week, things could dry out fairly quickly. We just really haven't had that issue in most areas, though, with the very consistent rainfall that we've been dealing with. But we are becoming a little bit more optimistic about that chance or prospect for rainfall, specifically on Thursday and Friday across most of the Panhandles region. It's also going to be cooler. Let's take a look at your 7-day tracker here for Amarillo. We've got you at 94 tomorrow, currently have you at 95 on Wednesday. I do think there's some boom and bust potential with that. If that front gets here early, 95 is probably not attainable. But we are going to be much cooler on Thursday and Friday. There's even a few outlier models that are more aggressive that keep the clouds around Thursday, saying we may not even get out of the 70s in some spots. So that's something to maybe look forward to if you don't really care for the heat. But that's what we've got going on this week. It should be quiet today, quiet tomorrow for the most part, maybe a rogue storm or two over towards New Mexico. But Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday look like they'll have some better opportunities for some scattered thunderstorms here across the region. I would imagine that they'll be borderline severe, just given the conditions that we have. We'll have some of that northwest flow, some cold air aloft. We'll probably have some stronger wind gusts with these storms as they collapse. The question will be how much wind shear we have. If we have enough, maybe a bigger complex to develop and some severe weather potentially. But currently, general thunderstorms is mostly what we expect with that rogue severe wind gust here or there, kind of like we've been dealing with for the last week to 2 weeks. So that's current thoughts. If things change, we'll certainly let you guys know. But that is all we have for you this afternoon. If anything changes, we'll be jumping back on live to keep you guys weather aware with us here at Storm Surge